There is a Christian ministry. It's called Truth for Life. It's been around for a while, and for the past 12 years, a Christian pastor has hosted this show called Truth for Life. His name is Alastair Begg. He is, I believe, a Scottish priest. He has a really neat accent. And back in September, this guy was doing an episode of his radio show. And I should tell you, this guy is the senior pastor at an anti-gay church in Ohio. He moved there. He's been doing that for 40 years. It's an anti-gay church. They have it very clear on their website. He has written dozens of books promoting conservative Christianity. He is even, I'll show you this, he is appearing at this conference, upcoming conference of Christians. Where is Alistair Begg? There he is at the very top row. Third from the left there in the green background. That's Alistair. He's speaking at this conference for Christianity with John MacArthur on the far left there, who is one of those like very right-wing extremist, MAGA culty sort of dudes. And as you could tell, they really like having a diverse panel of penis people. No women allowed to speak at these conferences. I don't know. The point being, Alistair Begg is a very conservative Christian. He's a very conservative Christian pastor. His bona fides are right there. So what did he do that was so problematic that this became a controversy? Well, back in September, he was hosting an episode of his show, and someone basically, his co-host, said, hey, here's a hypothetical for you. How should like Christians show compassion in the right way, especially when it seems like the tough thing to do? And I'm not going to air the clip. It's a long clip, but I'm going to show you the transcript of what Alistair Begg said. This is all Alistair Begg here. And let's read this together. In very specific areas, this comes across. I can't do the accent. I mean, you and I know that we field questions all the time that go along the lines of, my grandson is about to be married to a transgender person, and I don't know what to do about this. And I'm calling to ask you to tell me what to do, which is a huge responsibility. And in a conversation like that just a few days ago, and people may not like this answer, but I asked the grandmother, does your grandson understand your belief in Jesus? Yes. Does your grandson understand that your belief in Jesus makes it such that you can't countenance in any way, in any affirming way, the choices that he has made in life? Yes. I said, well, then okay, as long as he knows that, then I suggest you do go to the ceremony. And I suggest that you buy them a gift. Oh, she said, what? She was caught off guard. I said, well, here's the thing. Your love for them may catch them off guard, but your absence will simply reinforce the fact that they said, these people are what I always thought, judgmental, critical, unprepared to countenance anything. And it is a fine line, isn't it? It really is. And people need to work out their own salvation with fear and trembling. But I think we're going to take that risk. We're going to have to take that risk a lot more if we want to build bridges into the hearts and lives of those who don't understand Jesus and don't understand that he is a king. Okay. So just to recap there, the hypothetical question that he says he was asked the other day, this lady came to him with, I'm sure, a single tear in her eye, and she says, should I go to the wedding of my grandson who is marrying a trans person? First of all, that didn't happen. Not because he's marrying a trans person, but because if he was marrying a trans person, you wouldn't invite the bigot grandma. Why would you ruin your wedding like that? But anyway, the grandma's like, what should I do? Should I go to his wedding? And normally, conservative Christians have a habit of saying, absolutely not. You don't go to the wedding, because if you go to the wedding, you're suggesting there's something okay about the wedding, and that would be condoning sin. So you don't go to the wedding, and you don't give them a gift, and you cut those heathens out of your life. And Alistair Begg here says, as long as you know your grandson understands that this is putting you in a very awkward place because you think what he's doing is wrong, then go to the wedding. And, be nice to him. Give him a gift. Why? Because if you do that, he might start to think, maybe there's something I should think about given her beliefs. Maybe I should reconsider everything I've ever believed about Jesus. And on the other hand, if you do exactly what you think he's going to do, it'll just confirm his worst thoughts about you. And you know what? Strategically, I kind of see what he's going for there. I also think if you're the kid in that, if you're the grandson, I still say don't invite your grandma. Don't take her gift. All right, keep the money, but like don't take the gift. Don't invite her. Um, but okay, that is what he said. That's what he said back in September. Um, and again, I don't love his answer. I don't like the answer that you should be nice to him only, not because you actually want to be nice, but on the off chance that maybe it'll convert him in the long run. That's a dubious move to be nice to somebody. I don't love that. Um, but if you look at it from a broader perspective, I guess it's nice to be nice to people instead of being a jerk to them out of spite because, you know, you have warped views about morality. And it is, as he admitted, it is a unique answer because a lot of conservative Christians don't do that. And using his logic, you can see why conservative Christians would be really mad about this. Because if you're condoning sin by going to a wedding like that, like what is stopping other right-wing evangelicals from helping and supporting their friend who wants an abortion? And what's stopping you from saying, well, I'm happy for you and your same-sex wedding? Like, isn't that just as horrible to do? Like, you could see the slippery slope argument there. So here's the thing. That was from September. That whole clip that I just showed you is from September. And ever since, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say ever since. Last week, a right-wing outlet, I think, shared that clip from like months ago, and everyone flipped their shit about this. This is the Christian Post. Alistair Begg, gay weddings and love. Where's the important part here? Look at what this dude wrote. Christians who attend gay weddings are just like Christians who obey a transgender person's preferred pronouns. They are tacitly affirming sin. Yes, truly, the worst thing anyone could ever do. Treat a trans person with respect. This is another website. This is another right-wing Christian outlet. Look at what this dude said. This is from Pulpit and Pen, which is, again, another right-wing canceling Alistair Begg. Where did this go? Here we go. This guy spends a lot of time saying, Alistair Begg's been a good conservative Christian, and it's precisely because of his history of faithful preaching that the grandmother sought his advice. We should not, therefore, look to Begg's history of fidelity to the cause of Christ and let that overshadow this one instance of pastoral malpractice. He called it pastoral malpractice. Why? Because Alistair Begg said, maybe try being nice for once. How dare he? And then look at what this guy writes. Bad advice is not unforgivable, even when the advice is sinful. The man on the middle cross, that's Jesus, would still let Begg into heaven. Thank God we don't have to get everything perfectly right to be saved. However, a biblical standard demands that Begg should not be let into the pulpit or your podcast rotation. He's shown himself unqualified. They are canceling this pastor who's been pastoring conservative Christian garbage for 40 years because he dared to say, maybe don't be a dick for once and see how that works out for you. And they're so mad at him. How mad are they? This actually took a turn beyond just right-wing zealots going crazy. This is American Family News. This is also from the American Family Association, which is a right-wing hate group. They hosted Alistair Begg's radio show. I think it aired half an hour every day on like 180 radio stations. This week, they dropped his show from their lineup. They just took it off air. Look at this. American Family Radio is parting ways with well-known church pastor Alistair Begg and his daily radio program, Truth for Life. What they did is on Wednesday, like AFA staff members did a live stream. Look at this. In that time slot Wednesday morning, when AFR listeners would usually listen to Begg's program, AFA informed listeners about the decision in a live broadcast that included a bunch of AFA staffers. They took over his slot to talk shit about him. In the live segment, the AFA president likened the unbiblical same-sex wedding to a father being asked by his son, an alcoholic, to drive him to a bar. Son, I am not driving you to the bar. If you go to the bar and you're an adult, that's your decision, but I'm not going to be a part of that. That is how these Christians see a wedding between like two dudes or dude and a trans person. They see it as the equivalent of supporting alcoholism. And you know these people and their metaphors. They would say it's like a man and an animal too. Like that's how insane these people get. But they literally punished him. They cut off his show because cancel culture is always bad when liberals do it, and it's always fine when right wingers just take you totally out of proportion and decide they want to punish you for any reason they can think of. That's not cancel culture. That's just, being a good Jesus follower. And what's interesting is those dudes at the AFA said they spoke on the phone with Alistair Begg's people. I don't know, the guy has like people who work for him or whatever. And his staff said this is just a matter of individual conscience because Alistair Begg was not condoning same-sex marriage. He wasn't saying it's okay for a man to marry a trans person. He's just saying when it comes to how you respond to that, there are different ways to go about it. And he said, that's not like core to our salvation. It's not like Jesus said, you have to, if you want to get to God, you got to go through me. And also, you got to be a total asshole to the gays. No, Alistair Begg's saying, yeah, there are some things that are core to our faith. This isn't one of them. This is just a matter of individual conscience. And the people at the American Family Association are like, nope, no, this is 100% all that matters when it comes to being a Christian, and you failed, and we're kicking you out. I don't know if he's still going to preach at that conference with all the dudes in like a month or something. There's no way they're going to put up with that, right? Like, so to which I can say, all these people deserve each other. They all have horrible, horrible beliefs, and I'm glad to see the infighting, and I hope they keep fighting because they all have the wrong answers. And, let them fight, let them get mad at each other. Like, and just to say this one last time, an anti-gay group got mad at an anti-gay pastor for saying, I'm still anti-gay, but maybe one time you can also be nice so that the people you're being nice to might turn anti-gay in the long run. And this group is like, too nice. We don't allow that. It's just fire and brimstone all the time. That's what this fight is about. And it's kind of funny if it wasn't so sad, but it is kind of funny.